and welcome back to the beautiful football channel that is called Josh. Yes, very original, I know. I'm not creative. So last night I had Reese and Nathan on the channel this beautiful sunny afternoon here in the UK. I've got Douglas from the Douglas Football Channel. He's came on. He couldn't make it last night because he was stacking shelves at Tesco's. But he's back to but he's here to talk football, for PSG, the Glazers, and everything else in between. So how you doing, Doug?
I'm good, thank you, Josh. Thank you very much for having me. And yes, last night I was stuck at work, so that's why I wasn't on last night. But no, it is an absolute pleasure to be here, and I'm looking forward to it.
So we've got a lot to get through. I'm going to be asking Doug very similar questions and conversations that we had last night with Reese and Nathan. So we're going to start off with obviously Liverpool, the club that you adore. Obviously, this whole Super League thing has made you PSG out. I know that kind of pushed you over the line. I know you're still very much reluctant to change that opinion, even after the apology from John Harry. So where do you stand with Liverpool at the moment? Obviously, I think you have plenty of sympathy for Jurgen Klopp and the players. Obviously, the players came out on social media with the same post. Klopp probably coming out before the Leeds game criticising the Super League on the board. So where do you stand with Liverpool?
Well, first of all, the Leeds game was a friendly. The Leeds game was a friendly. It's actually nice to be speaking about football at the weekend against Newcastle, rather than this European Super League. No, where do I stand on FSG? This isn't the first time they made a big mistake, and the fact that they went behind Klopp's back and the players' back and the supporters' back. There's no way back for them as far as I'm concerned. They've made 5 big mistakes since they've been here. They flew Kenny Dalglish in the 11-12 season to America all the way for him to just sack him. Now that is just ridiculous. And then they appointed Brendan Rodgers, I think, after being in Liverpool as well. 2016 was the ticket apology. The 77-minute walkout against Sunderland Football Club. They tried to get us to pay £77 a ticket. So that was another mistake. And then in 2019 they tried to trademark the name Liverpool. I mean, who does that? Who does that? And then. Obviously, the furlough last season. They tried to furlough the staff after that. And again, I said at the time I didn't think that was the right decision, and majorly backtracked on that as well. And now this European Super League, honestly, and I'm not taking the apology from John Henry. I'm sorry. What I'm about to say, that apology was lame as anything. He has yellow roses at the side of him. I'm sorry to say this, but yellow roses are a sign of forgiveness. And it looks like he's actually speaking into what looks like a picture. I think there's been something said on there that he's actually just had to say. It's PR. It's really, really poor. And they've actually made him look out to be very, very frail. It just doesn't work with me. And he's also wearing a Gillette jacket. Now, one of our last owners was George Gillette. So what is going... Honestly, for me, I am out, FSG out, because of what has happened. Yes, we can thank you for, saving us from the brink of extinction in 2010. But... This is the last straw for me, because you go behind the player's back, you go behind Klopp's back. You may have said sorry, but you've got a lot of making up to do this season.
That's very, very, very well said. Obviously, he was one of the leading board members in the European Super League. He was the one making the documents, making the rules up with Perez and Joel Glazer. So I think that adds a bit more saltiness to the Liverpool fan base, know that this guy was trying to lead it more than anything. Did it? Obviously he was making this apology, but do you think he angered fans even more when he fully on admitted that he went behind Jurgen Klopp's back and the players' back in this whole thing? Because he admitted it. He said, "I apologize to Jurgen Klopp and the players for the way I treated them." Do you think that just angers fans even more that he actually admits that he knew what he was doing?
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was something said your club as well. So he's saying your club and like not our club. So that already says something to me that these owners seem to be far, far away from the club and the club's fans. So there's a big split between the owners and the fans. So I think it's going to anger the fans more. I really, really do. And I think it is also going to suggest now that, for me, their position as owners is untenable.
Do you think it's extremely difficult? It's extremely difficult to know, okay, because only one man knew what his decision was going to be. But do you think there was a high chance that Klopp was very close to walking?
Oh, 100, yeah. I think you look at what he said the other night there, and he's always been against this Super League. He's always been against it. In 2019, he said he wasn't a big fan of this, and he was very, very against it the other night at Leeds as well. I like the fact that Leeds actually blocked the board members from going in. And the Leeds fans and protests were I thought they were very, very justified, and rightly so. And one of the things that actually made me watch that game was not so much the football, as so much about the result. That's probably been one of the only games I've just been like, I don't really care about the result, because of the owners have went behind Klopp's back. You saw what James Milner came out and said, and he said that he didn't feel he didn't like it and he didn't want it to happen. And then all of a sudden, Jordan Henderson comes out on Twitter and says basically, we do not like it, we do not want it to happen. This is our stance. We will not be changing it. You'll never walk alone. Then you see loads of other players say it, and you're like, this ain't going to happen. So the fact that Milner and Klopp, said against it, Jordan Henderson, this might be a bit controversial saying this, but for me, he must be one of the most influential captains in the Premier League. He was the one that started out the Players Together movement. And now he was basically going to have a meeting with the 20 Premier League captains as well. This is Jordan Henderson. You go back to 10 years ago. You go back to 10 years ago when he signed. Not many people thought he was going to be a success at Liverpool. And look at now. He's become a captain, a leader, and he will be a legend on Liverpool.
That's do you think? I know this is on a very off topic when you're talking about Jordan Henderson specifically. I know a lot of people have been saying he should be captain in England to the Euros over Harry Kane. Would you justify that?
Yes, for me, Jordan Henderson's more of a leader than Harry Kane.
So obviously, fans are meant to be coming back into the stadiums very soon. Obviously, we're going to have, I think, 21,000 fans at Wembley for the FA Cup final. I know there's going to be fans this weekend for City and Spurs at Wembley. And I know coming in towards the end of the season, we're going to get fans back into the Premier League and the Championship grounds, which is, of course, is fantastic to see. Do you think that John Henry and is it Tom Werner, who's your chief executive officer?
Tom Werner. Yeah, Tom Werner.
Do you think they could walk into Anfield with fans in that stadium ever again?
I don't think they're going to be welcomed at Liverpool. I honestly don't. I think the problem you have, I think, is the next time they are actually seen at a game and the fans will be there, it could get messy. There is a planned protest on Saturday just before the Newcastle game. I think that's 11 o'clock. So, I mean, you look today. Like Manchester United fans went to Carrington training ground to actually, protest against the Glazers. So, Liverpool, you could see Liverpool fans potentially, do that. But I think it's going to be very, very tricky for them to regain the trust of the fans. And actually, I think it's going to be very, very tricky for them to even attend a game at Anfield again.
What was the last game they attended, to your knowledge?
Oh, do you know what? That's a very, very good question. I want to say...
Because I know the last time Joe Glazer attended a United game was the Barcelona and United Champions League game 2 years ago.
I wonder if it was the 5-3 game against you guys at Anfield. It was when we won the Premier League. I've got a feeling that they were there, but I could be wrong. Could be wrong, but I do think it was the 5-3 game against Chelsea.
Well, the fact that the Real game says it all, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I think that says it all in a nutshell. So, from a realistic point of view, do you think PSG will sell if the fans keep on doing these right things, or do you think it's going to be a situation where I see it going where it will kind of just die and go? It will kind of, they'll see out this initial stage. It will kind of die out, and then they'll be back to just being able to run the club in a terrible way without any protests coming from the fans.
The problem you have is that when they bought Liverpool Football Club, we were worth, I think, just millions of pounds. I think they've now made their money. We're probably worth something. You know, they'll probably value us at something billion or something. You know, the fact is that they've actually, you know, made us commercially big again. Do I see them going? I think I don't see it happening anytime soon. I do not see it happening anytime soon. There was a report earlier today. I think Kavi Solikol, tweeted saying that one of the owners is actually getting really, really fed up and wants to sell up. But I don't see it being John Henry. I think it's probably more Stan Kroenke, in all honesty, Arsenal. So I think they're here for the. I still think they're going to be here for at least the summer, and probably into next season. I don't see them going anytime soon.
Do you think there's any chance for they're going to go out here in the summer and just sign a ton of good players and and try and just cover it up and make the fans all glory again? Because reports are saying that's exactly what the Glazers and Ed Woodward are going to do. Is they're going to go just spend a ton of money in the summer and the fans will be happy. Do you think PSG are capable of doing the same?
It remains to be seen. I think probably one of the first signings will be probably Ibrahimovic. That looks just about done. If you believe every story on Twitter, and obviously I'm not requesting you to do that, but there's a lot of talk about Ibrahimovic. Look, I think if they do go out and give Klopp money, then it does appease the fans, but does it? It'll appease the fans, but they'll still feel that they are betrayed. It's going to take a lot of time for them to get back on the trust of Liverpool fans, and unfortunately, I just don't see where that's happening. Apparently, Tom Byrne has been asked to relinquish his seat on the Premier League committee, which doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me one bit. So, yeah, I think FSG are in for a bit of a tough time, I think.
Moving on from Liverpool to the European Super League now. Obviously, we cancelled the World of Football podcast on Monday because it was a very difficult situation, because at the time we really did not know what was going to go on. And I know you. Obviously, I think YouTube football is your life. You base your life around football and content creation outside of work. So I know how much football means. So you watch every football game. Who really know on demand? So yeah. I know it hits you emotionally. Like, doesn't it just show to all our football fans that this is more than a sport and the ball being kicked and us winning football games? This is a life, this is a hobby, and this is a tradition for us, that we watch these games every week and we support our teams, and that it shows that when all these fans came together, the Chelsea fans came together, Liverpool players came together, that this is just more than a sport. This is basically our life. Yeah,
absolutely. As I've said, football. I've been fan of Livingston and Liverpool most of my life, really. So football is a passion, and without football, I think I would be lost, in all honesty. But yeah, it's a win for the fans, definitely. I think, look, I don't think you could actually meet anybody who is actually saying that this was a good idea. I think probably more people would probably like abroad would probably say that it's a good idea. It's viably commercial, but you're looking at the things like Amazon, Disney. I think Netflix was being mentioned to get the rights as well. So, already, it sounds like glorified friendlies to me, but I was totally against the idea. And my heart sank when we were one of the clubs mentioned, and I bet your heart sank when saw Chelsea's name being mentioned. I think Reese's heart sank when Manchester United were mentioned. So definitely it's been a very, very tough 48 hours, and a whirlwind 48 hours for sure. But obviously there's one man in Madrid who still thinks this thing is going to go ahead, and unfortunately he's not backing down the idea. Anyway, I think the only clubs that I think remain are Juventus, Barcelona, and Real Madrid. So that's 3 out of the 12.
Liverpool one of the last English clubs to withdraw, weren't they? I think you were United with the last. I know Jamie.
Yeah.
I know Jamie Carragher. I think we had Tuesday night. He came on and he was disgusted by the fact that Liverpool still have not left, and that was quite late on Tuesday.
Yeah, can I just say Jamie Carragher and Gary Neville I thought were absolutely magnificent on Monday Night Football. All the things that they said, was just. It was just, the fans, and I actually like what Cara said when he said that if Klopp leaves Liverpool, then FSG will be out within weeks. I really like that, because I think he's absolutely spot on with what he was saying. But Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher on Monday Night Football were fantastic, and I think. It's look, Jamie Carragher's face when you saw that we were in it was very, very bad. So I'm happy that we are out of it. I think Tottenham were one of the last clubs to withdraw. I think it started with Chelsea and then Manchester City, and then I think it was Arsenal and then Liverpool and then Manchester United, and then I think it was Tottenham. So, but. The funny thing is, out of this lot, Arsenal were the only ones to apologise. Yes, I know Joel Glazer sent, an apology letter, but Manchester United fans are not taking it at all. As far as I'm concerned, the Glazers have been at Manchester United for far, far, far too long, taking money out of the club every single year. I wouldn't be too surprised if they're like £1 billion in debt right now. Is that bad at Manchester United?
Would you? I take it you would be all for. Now we know Boris Johnson. I don't think you're talking about Boris Johnson and trying to save football. I don't think everyone ever thought that would. That just sums up the world that we live in these days. But he is extremely adamant to try and bring in the 50+1 rule. Now that is obviously the rule that's used in Germany, except for 2 clubs, which are run by investors, but they're good investors. They're German investors. They run their club well. I take it you're all for the 50+1 rule. You have no objection against it. You'd vote yes for it if you had to.
Oh, definitely. You can see how well it works in the Bundesliga. I think it would work well in England, and it would be definitely a level playing field. I think with the clubs and the transfer fees for sure. But I think the 50+1 rule has to come in eventually, and this is going to change English football a long, long time if this comes in for sure.
Moving on to the last bit about the Super League is obviously Perez and the Juventus chairman, who are the two leaders, the 2 guys who have been trying to run this now. Obviously, Juventus got knocked out of the Champions League. Though there is talk about them trying to be kicked out of next year's Champions League. Would you kick Real Madrid out of the Champions League if UEFA has the laws to do it, or do you think? Or do you think they need a more severe punishment on Perez?
It's a very good question. I mean, I would jump at the chance to play Chelsea in the next round. I know you wouldn't because of obviously our history in the semi-finals. But the games are next week. It's a bit of a tight. It's going to be a bit of a tight, deadline to even decide if they're going to get rid of them. But I can see the games going ahead of the week in next week anyway. I think you'll play Real Madrid. I don't think they're going to get any punishment yet, but I can see Real Madrid getting a very, very hefty punishment. I think Perez will definitely get punished as well. There was talks, I think, that people were actually asking him to resign as president. I think he's just won his second spell as Real Madrid president as well. So yeah, there's a lot going to happen, and this is not the end of it. This is only the start of it. I think this thing is going to get messy.
Okay, so moving on. So obviously we can start talking about positive things. We can start talking about the football. We can start looking ahead to what is to come, because that Leeds game obviously did not feel right. But, just the whole feeling of the game. It was, as you said, it was a friendly. And obviously Chelsea played Brighton after the news came out. But in context, the Chelsea players literally found out as they were walking off the team bus to go and warm up that we have withdrawn from the Super League, and they were delayed by 20 minutes because of the protests. So players are human beings at the end of the day, and it's hard. Do you think Jurgen Klopp, Pep Guardiola? Oh, City actually did okay, actually, to be fair to them. But do you think that Pep Guardiola, do you think that Solskjaer, Arteta, Thomas Tuchel, Klopp have a really difficult task in trying to get their players focused for an incredibly important end to the season? Because top four matters, the trophies now do matter. Do you think this is a really difficult task for these players to now turn their mentality back around again?
Yeah, definitely. I think you looking at the games that we've got. I think we've got Manchester United coming up away. That's not going to be an easy game. And then I think it's after Manchester United, we've got a relatively sort of easy run. But the problem is we've not actually had that good a season against the bottom clubs. So that could determine whether we get top four or not. I do think as well that Chelsea have a tough run in, I think. And I think the thing is, I think all managers are going to have to get on board, try and get their players, motivated for the final few games. Because, in my honest opinion, teams like Leicester and teams like West Ham deserve Champions League football this season. Both of them have been fantastic, and we haven't been great. Chelsea started really well and then, fell away and, obviously got rid of Lampard and, Tuchel came in as well. So Manchester United, to be fair, they've had a good season. They're sitting second with a Europa League semi-final that we never thought might happen after this. So it's going to be very, very tricky. And I do think that it is going to take a lot on the players to, get themselves, properly motivated, because this thing with the European Super League is just, it's going to have a burden on them. But it's nice to see a lot of players actually come out and say that they were against it.
Just actually on this, Arsenal's chief executive and Josh Kroenke, the son of Stan Kroenke, have just came out with a statement as they're hosting an Arsenal forum. So here's what. So the chief executive said, "We're really, really sorry for Arsenal's part in the difficult week for football. AFC not the authors of this proposal, despite what many think. On this project, the train was leaving the station. We made the decision to join. We made a decision, a terrible one." And then Josh Kroenke followed up by, "I am here today to talk, and I echo Finney's comments. Leadership is about recognizing when you're wrong, correcting, and apologizing." Would you accept those comments if that was Liverpool PSG, or would you just say that this is just PR stunt and you just can't? You need to do better than that?
Well, I think that's more PR stunt, in all honesty. I think the funny thing is, Stan Kroenke actually sent his son to do that, not him. So he's obviously hiding in America somewhere. And would I accept it if it was FSG? No, I wouldn't, because they've got.
Here's the latest quote. This is interesting. We asked ourselves what is worse, European Super League or European Super League without Arsenal. Also asked ourselves, what do fans want? The global fans want Arsenal Football Club versus Barcelona as often as possible. English fans want to see more big matches, but you all want your cold nights in Stoke. We got it wrong.
Interesting. But I just think all the clubs who wanted to sign up for that Super League are in the wrong. I don't think there's anybody that can come out with their heads held high about this, because you could say Chelsea, Manchester City were definitely backed into a corner, but the problem is they still signed that whatever paperwork was brought in front of them. But that Arsenal statement just kind of says, again, it's more PR things, I think. It's not really heartfelt either. That's the thing about it. It's not very, very heartfelt. So I think they're going to have to... I think all these owners that signed this thing are going to have a lot of making up to do, for sure.
I said last night on the stream that I think that there is going to be sanctions by UEFA, by FIFA, and by the Premier League, and by La Liga and the Bundesliga. Not the Bundesliga, but La Liga. There's going to be sanctions on these clubs, and right to be. I've already said any sanctions on Ibrahimovic, even though Ibrahimovic did the right thing in the end, and even though he was never keen, he should never have said yes in the first place. So I say whatever comes our way, comes our way. But the one thing I will massively disagree with is if the Premier League and UEFA punish the players and the managers, because they didn't. Yeah. They were in a no much better situation than what the fans were. They were obviously they're contracted. Some of them couldn't speak up. So I think Pep and Klopp had the success and the history with the clubs to be able to speak out. But Tuchel didn't. He didn't have that kind of like trophies behind him that he could speak out and then be left in a difficult situation to be sacked if he did. So if the players and the managers get punished, then it's completely wrong by the Premier League and UEFA and whoever else does it. It should literally be the owners and the owners only, and the guys who were trying to lead this race in the first place. I think that you have no disagreements with that.
Absolutely agree with that. It should definitely be the owners that get punished, not the clubs or the players, because the players weren't involved in this. And I think it'd be very, very unfair if they did fine the clubs, but. Whatever will come will come, but they definitely need to make a decision on what sanctions is going to be necessary. If it's a Champions League ban for a season or two, then so be it. But we'll need to wait and see about that. But punish the owners, not the clubs or the players, because the players have done nothing wrong, managers have done nothing wrong. It was the greedy owners.
So it's absolute scenes when Chelsea and Liverpool finish third and fourth, and we see West Ham and Leeds in the Champions League next season.
I know, that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
But moving on to football itself now, I passionately think that yes, there's definitely some things within the English football that needs to be improved. I think that the FA Cup needs a bit of a... If you look at the Copa del Rey in La Liga, they changed it this year. They used to have it 2 legs every game. You didn't get any European competition for winning it. They changed it to a single leg game. The lowest ranked club in the tie hosted the game, and then and then they got a Europa League spot, and the competition blew up. It completely changed. Do you think that the English FA need to look at trying to do something with the FA Cup? The FA Cup has died. The top 6 clubs do play their second team until the semi-final. Do you think that the FA Cup needs to be reformed to be more competitive? And do you think that they should stick with the league? Because we're the only it's the only country that has a League Cup in it. Do you think they should scrap the League Cup? Or give the League Cup a significant reason of a cup competition and more money, or just keep it for the lower clubs? And do you think the FA Cup needs to be made more competitive by having more rewards in it?
Well, first on the FA Cup, I love the FA Cup. I absolutely love the FA Cup. Yeah, maybe not in recent years, because I think the closest we came to winning it was 15-16. No, sorry. the closest we came to. Actually, Klopp's never been past the 4th or 5th round of the FA Cup. It's the League Cup. Sorry, it's the League Cup final. I think the FA Cup definitely needs to be reformed. You've seen loads of teams actually just not taking a care to it anymore. That's very, very worrying, because we do have this tendency to play weakened sides in the FA Cup. Now, do I think it should be reformed? Yes, I do. But I don't see where and what has to be done about the FA Cup, in all honesty. As far as the League Cup's concerned, again, not many clubs are taking interest to that either. So, it's more games at the end of the day. The fact that you've look at the Carabao Cup scheduling this season. I think it was they had the first round in 1 week. And then they played the second round the next game week, third round 2 weeks after that, and then the fourth round. It's too much games, but I do understand with obviously COVID, etc., what is happening. But they definitely do need to make a change to the League Cup. The scheduling needs to be a lot better. And I actually think the scheduling of the FA Cup has to be a lot better as well.
But you saying make it weekends only and not have any of the midweek games that you get on, or you saying no replays? What do you mean by the scheduling of the FA Cup?
I think with I think to play midweek and then like a league game on a Saturday, I do like that. As I've said, I do like the FA Cup, but the problem I think you've got is that the FA Cup used to be weekend only. The fact that they're moving, games to, midweek. Yes, I get the FA Cup replays as well. And look, I've always been one for an FA Cup replay. I do like the FA Cup replays. So I think they should make it weekends only for the FA Cup. And I would also say the League Cup, I think that has to be midweek only. The fact that you're moving games to like a Saturday to get this thing finished, it's just too much. It takes too much on the players as well.
There is some talk that they might be scrubbing the League Cup and bringing in a UK National Cup where teams from Northern Ireland, like us, or Glenavon, part-time teams, same with the Welsh League, like the likes of Barrytown, who obviously Nathan supports locally, Livingston, Aberdeen, Celtic, Rangers, along with the Premiership clubs in England. I wouldn't actually be for it, but it would have to be done in a fair and sensible way. Like the Northern Irish and the Welsh teams play each other in the first couple of rounds, because you can't have Glenavon going up against Chelsea in the first round. That would just be unfair.
No, it'd be curtains for you, wouldn't it? Because you wouldn't know who to support.
Well, who would you support between Liverpool and Livingston?
Oh, crikey. I'd be neutral. I'd be definitely neutral at that point.
Yeah, but would you be up for that? A UK to get a cup when COVID's gone? Do you think that would be? It would be interesting, anyway, to say the least.
Well, we had something in Scotland. I think it was the Scottish Challenge Cup, but we were inviting teams.
That's still a thing, yeah.
Yeah, we were inviting teams, I think, from the National League and then Ireland, and then I think we had Wales as well. I remember Livingston actually playing TNS.
Weird fact, do you know the club Raith Rovers? He's in the Championship at the moment. Mm-hmm. Glenavon went away to Raith Rovers in that Scottish Challenge Cup. I went there. We lost 2-1. It was actually a really, really, really good game.
Yeah, you said that. I do remember you actually saying that. So yeah, you're actually not too far away from me when you were in Raith. Oh, I need to remember that. But yeah, I think that the UK Big Cup would be fantastic. I think it would definitely improve for sure. It would make it more exciting as well. But look. The thing is, they have to get ticket prices down, because the TV companies, right? The TV companies and ticket prices, etc., are going through the absolute roof. So to bring in the 50+1 rule, £20 tickets, something, along those lines. I think that'd be a very, very good idea.
It would be something. So moving on to the final section, which is your ideas for us. Obviously you aren't in any competitions. You're obviously still fighting for top 4. I take it now. See, this is obviously a bit difficult for Liverpool fans, because you've been absolutely hit with injuries. Like there's been no tomorrow. So are you still disappointed with the season given those injuries, or do you think that you've been even in a top 4 fight with those injuries probably succeeds what you thought you could have done?
I think if we get top 4, I think it's a big plus on what has been a very poor season. That has to be said, but the injuries. Injuries part and parcel of football, unfortunately, and we've suffered a lot of injuries, as you can say. But yeah, you could say Leicester City have had more injuries than us, and they're still in the top 4. That kind of says something. But yeah, look. If you don't have Virgil van Dijk, if you don't have Joe Gomez, if you don't have Joel Matip at the back, you are going to definitely struggle. And I think we've looked at this season. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold been difficult as well with having so many centre backs. Kabak, Phillips. So many centre backs options for sure. So I think that's affected this game. I think not having Van Dijk, I think it's affected both of their games for sure. But if we manage to get top 4 with the car crash season that this has been, Klopp deserves an absolute medal because to get top 4 from the position that we were in at Christmas. I think it would be absolutely fantastic. But it's going to be a very tricky, last couple of games for sure.
Right, so here we go. My final questions to you. This will make you think a wee bit, and this is the same ones that I asked Reece and Nathan last night. So I'm going to ask you for your predictions for a series of things. All right. So first of all, your League Cup winners between Barry Wilson, Spurs, whatever you call the guy. I don't even know what you call him.
Ryan Mason.
Ryan Mason. That's the one. Ryan Mason and Pep Guardiola. Who's winning the League Cup at the weekend?
Tottenham.
Do you think Ryan Mason's going to do one over Pep Guardiola?
I think Tottenham are going to beat Manchester City. The reason I say this is I think City are more focused on getting the Champions League, and I think they're focused on getting the league wrapped up as soon as possible because City were on a bit of a downwards sort of spiral, 2 defeats in a row. It's not like them. It's not like them at all. So the fact that they won against Aston Villa last night, I think, was very, very key. But I've just got a funny feeling Spurs are going to win their first trophy since 2008.
God help us! I'm going to have to shut down my Twitter for a day if they do that. They were bad enough when they won the Aldi Cup last year.
Yeah.
Never mind an actual competitive trophy. FA Cup final between Chelsea and Leicester on the 15th of May.
I would love Leicester to win it. Obviously, I would, but I've just got a feeling Chelsea will sneak that. I'm going to say Chelsea.
The Europa League winners between either United, Roma, Villarreal or Arsenal?
I've said from day one Villarreal are going to win it because of Unai Emery. Villarreal.
It would be quite funny watching him be sort of short in the final and United fans going another year without a trophy. Just on a very short notice, we said yesterday that if they don't win a trophy next season and Solskjaer does not win a trophy next season, Solskjaer has to go. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I think he's big under pressure now. I think these games against Roma are critical. If they can get past the semi-final, that would be very, very good. But it's beating the final for sure. On Reece's point about Solskjaer going, I do actually think that if he doesn't win anything this season and then it doesn't win anything next season, I think his job is definitely in jeopardy because Manchester United haven't won a thing since the I think it was Europa League or the FA Cup I think, under Louis van Gaal. Although I know Jose Mourinho won the Europa League, so yeah, I think Manchester United fans are getting restless, and they definitely need to start winning silverware. Otherwise, they're going to be left behind.
Your Champions League winners between Chelsea, currently Real Madrid, Paris Saint-Germain, and Manchester City.
I think PSG are going to win it.
PSG. Pochettino going to win a trophy, and PSG actually going to win the Champions League for once.
I think PSG are going to win I think PSG are going to win the Champions League. I think this is Mbappe's year.
Their attack has looked incredibly lethal in the Champions League this year. And then your top 4 prediction for the Premier League.
Jeez, this is going to be very, very difficult. Man City, Man United, Chelsea. Oh God! It's that 4th place. It's between Leicester, West Ham, and Liverpool. I'm going to say we pip them both. Liverpool. So City, United. I'm not being biased. No, I'm not being biased. But I'm going City, United, Chelsea, Liverpool.
Okay, and then very quickly, just a quick scorelines for our 2 games this weekend. So I'm going to regarding Liverpool and Newcastle. I think Liverpool will come back with a vengeance. I think they'll come out probably with the right energy and the right ideas. I'm going to go probably with a 3-0 Liverpool win. I think Newcastle are safe and they'll probably maybe rest a wee bit. Chelsea, West Ham. That's a really difficult. I think we're slight favourites in the game because West Ham are quite hit with injuries, especially in attack. I think Lingard might be out for the game. Tonio is out. Rice is obviously out. So I'm going to go with a very dodgy 1-0 win Chelsea. What about you?
Liverpool, Newcastle, I think will be a lot closer than you think. I don't think it's going to be a 3-0. I'm going to go 2-1. I'm going to go 2-1 Liverpool. And West Ham, Chelsea, I'm going to go for a very entertaining 2-2 draw.
I don't think I could take that. It's such a big game. If Chelsea win this game, I think West Ham's top 4 hopes are over. They'll be going for the Europa League at that point. If Chelsea lose this game, we have a lot of catching up to do with a very difficult schedule coming in. But anyway, that's all I've got to talk to you about, Doug. I think that's 42 minutes of non-stop talking football. It absolutely flew by. Everything that we've needed to cover has been covered. So thank you very much for coming on. Hope you enjoyed it.
Absolute pleasure. No, it's been an absolute pleasure, and thank you very much for having me. And apologies I couldn't make last night, but obviously work calls and when you have to work. So, but no, thank you very much for having me, and I do appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone for joining. Make sure to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, share the videos if you're so nice. If not, I'm going to hunt you down and find you. I'll send the Paris Mafia onto you for their lawsuits and their contracts, and that was getting a little bit outside of you. But I hope you all enjoyed, and I will see you again for the match preview for the massive game against West Ham United. Thank you very much, guys. See you later.